Good evening. Happy Thursday. This is Talking Sports with Evan. And a little earlier than I was planning on going live here tonight, but the Brewers are in a rain delay. Not sure how long it's going to be. So I figured might as well get started early as, 8:30 going to roll around and we might have the game going underway. So again, but Talking Sports with Evan every week. Find me on Facebook, YouTube, and X at Evan with Sports on X, at Talking Sports with Evan on YouTube and Facebook, to find the show live each and every week on these social media outlets. And you can always listen to the podcast if you don't want to look at me for the roughly 30 minutes or so that I do a show. You can listen to the podcast on Spotify or iTunes or on Substack as well. Sports Thoughts from Evan is Substack, and Talking Sports with Evan on Spotify and on iTunes. So you can find the show there as well. Didn't get a chance to go into detail on the Milwaukee Brewers last week, but I will be going in detail on the Milwaukee Brewers today. And if you want to give any thoughts or comments on the Milwaukee Brewers, you're welcome to do so. If you're watching this live, just make a comment on X at Evan with Sports, and I will share it on the air. If you're on Facebook or YouTube, just make a comment in the comments. And again, like I said, I will share it. Milwaukee Brewers. I'm going to start right there because that's what I promised you. But I also am going to talk some NFL and maybe some other things if there's time as we move along. But Milwaukee Brewers. A few things there I want to address. A few things regarding the Brewers that I do want to address. And one of those things was recent on a Milwaukee Sports Talk show recently, a sister station to a station that I am a part-time bottom of the totem pole producer at. So I just kind of preface, I'm not by role, but the Homer Hour on ESPN Milwaukee every weekday, 5 p.m. on 94.5, or you can find it on the ESPN Wisconsin app if you want to go find it. Tuesday, he had John Anderson on a show, as he always does, and the host, Homer, and I have a lot of respect for Homer. I've worked with him for a number of years now, and again, he's a show host. I'm a bottom, behind-the-scenes button pusher, so not trying to ruffle feathers here or anything, but he was commenting about, Jackson Cheerio. Better first half of the season this year as opposed to last year. His numbers are better now than they were a year ago this time. He just ended a 0-for-24 stretch. But he insinuated that the Brewers needed to trade. Not even insinuated. He flat out said that the Brewers need to trade Jackson Cheerio if he's not going to walk. I think he has 5 walks on the year. I don't know the specific numbers, but Jackson Cheerio hasn't walked a lot, and he's been playing center field more frequently this season as opposed to not being there at all last year. And since he's had to play center field this year with Garrett Mitchell and now Blake Perkins and now Garrett Mitchell hurt. Mitchell's been gone for about a month now. Perkins hasn't played at all. Yeah, Cheerio's been struggling. I heard the comments, and I respectfully have to strongly disagree with even the thought of trading Jackson Cheerio. He's 21 years old. Baseball is hard. Baseball is probably one of the hardest sports there is to play. And he looked like a natural at 20. He's had some ups and downs this year, but like I said, his numbers this year are better than they were a year ago at this time. The Brewers signed him at 19, 20 years old to a 8-year contract extension, buying him out of arbitration because they liked what they saw in his potential and the fact that he could potentially become a franchise caliber player to replace Christian Yelich as Yelich continues to get older and eventually he's no longer with the Brewers. Jackson Cheerio has the talent and the potential to take that baton and run with it. So that's why the Brewers signed him to that contract. But guess what? Baseball is a tough sport. Guys figure you out. Guys figure out what you chase, what you don't chase, your location you prefer it, and pitchers try to avoid those locations and catchers the best they can. The more at-bats you get as a ball player, the more pitches you throw as a pitcher, teams are going to figure out your tendencies and things you do well and things you don't do well. And I said this about Jordan Love going into last football season. I'm going to say it about Jackson Cheerio. It's going to be the adjustments he makes to the adjustments teams made against him. And Jackson Cheerio is going to have to figure it out, and he has the talent to be that all-star, all-caliber outfielder for the Brewers, but he's going to have some ups and downs. And Dominic Cotroneo, the host of Brewers Extra Innings, Brewers Weekly, he big baseball expert, I'll call him. He had his show Brewers Weekly last night, and he commented on it. And I highly recommend, if you're on X, go to Dominic's social media page, go to his Twitter account, or if you go to mine, I did retweet it. If you go to @EvanWittSports, I did retweet the video from Brewers Weekly that he put out there from yesterday's show. And he made a couple comparisons, and he's not, it's a tough comparison to make because Robin Yount is Robin Yount. But you look at Jackson Cheerio compared to Robin Yount with this many games played for both of them in the league, and Jackson Cheerio is pretty much beating him in every category. Jackson Cheerio is going to be fine. We got to be patient. He's a young kid continuing to develop, continuing to learn. And the fact that he's now playing center field, a position he did not play at all last year, and the slump kind of started when he went to center field. Another thing that Dominic talked about as well. The slump started when he moved to center field. He didn't play there at all last year. Now he's got to play a lot this year. So he's learning a new position. It's different than the corner outfield. There's more room you have to navigate, different angles with the ball coming to you. So he's learning a new position as he's adjusting to the plate. And I think Joey Ortiz's problem has been that as well. I know he was a shortstop in the minor leagues, but now he hadn't played there at all last year. Now he's got to get back there. Sometimes things take time. And I know it's making it sound like I'm making excuses. As one of my friends says, I always do, but it's just the reality. And to trade, to even insinuate, to even bring up, to even speculate the possibility of trading Jackson Cheerio, who you're not paying a lot of money to, considering, because he doesn't walk enough, is asinine. And I think it's the conversation we need to stop having, because Jackson's going to be okay. So that's the first bit that I wanted to talk about with the Brewers. We're not trading Jackson Cheerio. We should not entertain trading Jackson Cheerio, and we shouldn't talk about it or bring it up ever again because, again, he's 21 years old, second full season in the majors. He's going to be fine. So, other Brewers. Christian Yelich, another elephant in the room. Does have 2 home runs tonight. Has hit the ball out of the yard twice against the Pittsburgh Pirates in Pittsburgh. Hopefully, it is a turn-the-corner type game for Yelich. But Yelich has been brutal. He has been brutal since coming back this season with the back surgery. Last year, ended the season early. Last year, Yelich looked like he was back to his MVP form until the back gave out again and he opted for surgery. He looks like he did when he first came back from the shattered kneecap, where he just can't find any consistency at the plate. He keeps hitting the ball into the ground. He's getting no air under the ball. He's not getting any launch on it, and it's just knocking into the ground. Lots of infield ground outs. lots of strikeouts, and like I said, he just can't seem to elevate the ball. I don't know what to do with Yelich at this point. I get why you keep adding him second or third or fourth because Christian Yelich is a two-time MVP, but it's what have you done for me lately? And again, I premise he has 2 home runs in one game against the Pirates at the start of this show, but they need to get more from Yelich. They need Yelich to produce even more. The offense as a whole needs to produce even more. The Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel, Todd Rosiak. Kurt Hogue had a great article too, but Todd Rosiak talks about the Brewers offense and what the problem is. This time last year, the Brewers had scored 251 runs. This year, 212. Again, you're missing Willy Adames. Hits last year, 438 to 377. Home runs, 60 to 41. Runs batted in, 239 to 192. Walks, 186 to 172. Strikeouts, 446 to 407. So the Brewers are striking out less. 67 to 65 stolen bases. And here, last year at this time, they were batting 255 as a team with a 332 on base percentage. This year, 229 with a 308. Slugging percentage, 419. This year, 349. On base plus slugging percentage, 751. This year, 657. And again, these are all from Todd Rosiak over at the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel. Go check out the article. Great article by Todd Rosiak. And then I mentioned Kurt Hogue had an article in the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel as well, talking about how the Brewers look. That's Todd Rosiak too. But Kurt Hogue had a great article as well, talking about it. But so he's talking about worries and concerns on offense and the 5 pressing issues. Kurt Hogue talks about is the offense getting historically low production on the offense from the left side of the infield. Whoever's played third base, from Dunn to Monasterio to Durbin to whoever, has not been producing. And Joey Ortiz also not producing. He did have a home run tonight, but Joey Ortiz is 6 for 57 for the month of May. And that's not good through today and before today's game, and that's not good enough. The Brewers need better production from that side of the infield. Ortiz, as many pop-ups as to first as hits this month. Another concern. The Brewers don't put the ball in the air as much, and that's something I've seen watching and listening to the Brewers on the radio and watching on TV, is they're not putting the ball in the air enough. Today, 3 home runs in today's game by putting the ball in the air between Yelich and Ortiz. Yesterday, Rhys Hoskins with the home run put the ball in the air. Tuesday, Bryce Terang, Sal Frelick, Rhys Hoskins put the ball in the air. It left. But the Brewers too frequently are putting the ball on the ground. And, well, this he's talking about don't pull the ball in the air much, so meaning they don't hit it the other way. But either way, the Brewers are hitting into ground outs, infield pop-outs. They're not getting the ball in the air enough. And as they're starting to get the ball in the air, the ball is starting to leave a little bit. The fewest hard-hit base hits in the majors in the month of May. They have 66 base hits with an exit velocity of 95 miles per hour or greater. That ranks dead last among all teams in the month of May. The Tigers have twice as many. And Yelich and Cheerio aren't carrying their weight in the month of May. Lots of concerns offensively for the Brewers, but the thing is, it is only May. And the Brewers have had a lot of injuries, especially in the pitching staff, some in the everyday 1 through 8, 1 through 9. 1 through 8, 1 through 9. They've had injuries. I get injuries, can't be an excuse, but the Brewers just can't seem to get everything seemed to go extremely well for the Brewers this time last year. And this year, the exact opposite's happening. The big thing is last year, the Brewers did not beat themselves. They didn't make mistakes. And if you made a mistake against them, they made you pay. This year, they're making too many mistakes, and they end up paying for it. And when the other teams make a mistake, the Brewers aren't capitalizing on it. Willie Adames is a loss, but he's not the biggest issue for with the problems the Brewers are having. Guys need to play ultimately up to their potential. And I know a lot of fingers get pointed at Pat Murphy. Some of his pitching decisions have been very questionable this season overall. But the thing is, it's not Pat Murphy. There's only so much Pat Murphy, the manager of the Brewers, can do. He can move their lineup around. He can sit guys, and he can put guys in. But guess what? The guys that he, other than Jake Bauers, the guys that he puts in to play for the guys that are in the everyday lineup aren't doing very well either overall. Nobody's really hitting the ball very well for the Brewers, other than Rhys Hoskins, Sal Frelick, Bryce Terang, and Jake Bauers off the bench. That's really pretty much it. Chirio's been in a slump. Yelich has been in a slump most, if not all, this season. Things need to change. And basically, guys just need to start producing. Start playing baseball. Start relaxing. It seems like guys are tense. Guys are scared to make mistakes. Guys are pressing too much. It's a young team. Willie Adames was the locker room leader. He was a guy that could say, hey, let's chill out a little bit. Let's just relax. Let the game come to us. I think the Brewers are pressing too much. Too much stressing out over little things, and they're making mistakes. And I think it's making things worse. Ultimately, remember the game of baseball you love, the game of baseball you've all been playing since you were little boys in backyards, at parks, at schools, in high school, college, professional, wherever you played in Venezuela or Dominican Republic or whatever country you're from. The game of baseball has still always been the game of baseball. Remember why you played the game of baseball. Have some fun out there. Stop pressing, relax, and just let the game come. Baseball is a difficult sport. That's why if you succeed 30 to 33% of the time in baseball, you're considered an all-time great because baseball is that difficult of a sport. But ultimately, the Brewers just need to start producing. Need to start producing with runners in scoring position. They need to start getting guys on base to begin with. And maybe as the temperatures warm up, hopefully today with Pittsburgh before the rain delay, and I don't know if they're going to call the game or not. It is an official game, but I don't know what that is going to look like. I'm trying to find that out right now. On what they're going to do or how long of a delay this is going to be. Not seeing anything on X right now with how long this delay plans to be. But ultimately, just continue to, have some fun out there, and things are going to get turned around, is my opinion. With that said, lots of conversation on social media. Should the Brewers be sellers? Should they be buyers? Should they stand pat? What should they do? I don't think the Brewers should be buyers. I really don't. I think you have a lot of great young talent in the minor leagues right now. This just isn't clearly your year. Could you still make the playoffs as a wild card? Yes, but you're not going to make a magical carpet ride run a la the 2010 Green Bay Packers to the World Series. To the World Series. It's just not going to happen this season. You're too overmatched, too many injuries, too many guys not producing. I stand pat and potentially trade some assets away if you find the right price. Guys like Rhys Hoskins, guys like William Contreras, even possibly Freddie Peralta. I wouldn't trade Freddie personally, but if you get the right package for him, I'm not saying be sellers, but stand pat, and if the right deal comes to you, go ahead and make it for the guys I just mentioned. But I'm not trading assets to try to make a run for something that's just not going to happen. You have too many good young players in your minor leagues that are going to be very ready in the next couple years. There's no need to drain the system now for some rental pieces to get over a hump that you're not going to get over. And I'm not saying wave the white flag on the season. I'm saying just play the season out, and whatever happens, happens, and regroup next year with your Jackson Cheerio, your Bryce Terang, your Sal Frelick, all having another year of growth and development in the big leagues. Garrett Mitchell, if he can ever stay healthy, is a valuable asset. Blake Perkins, if he can ever get healthy, provides a great defensive player with some pop from time to time. This isn't going to be the year. Just play out the season and see what happens. If you make the playoffs by the end of the year, great. If you don't, not the end of the world. With that said about the Brewers, moving on to the NFL, and this is Talking Sports with Evan. I'm Evan Witalison. Find me on X at Evan with Sports in the bottom corner of the screen. Above me, right up there, you'll also see my Twitter handle, plus my YouTube and Facebook for Talking Sports with Evan. If you're watching the show live and want to weigh in, want to comment, please comment on the post and let me know what your thoughts are on the Brewers, on the Bucks, on the Packers, or on the NFL owners meetings. The NFL owners had their spring meetings, and a couple things got voted on that got tabled at the last owners meeting. Things like the tush push. The tush push had 22 teams vote in favor of banning the play. 10 teams vote in favor against it and against banning it. And the thing is, you need 24 teams to vote yes, so they fell 2 teams short. I am indifferent on banning it or not. I said that with Tristan Thomas on the show a while back when it first came to light, that the Packers were the team to request it be banned. I'm indifferent. I think it's a dumb play. It should never have been allowed to begin with. It was allowed because some language was changed in the rule book that allowed you to push guys forward on the field of play. You used to never be able to aid a runner, and now you can. And the Eagles have done a great job of taking advantage of it. But since it is a rule, stop it. Just stop the play. Figure out a way to stop it. And if you stop the Eagles enough on 4th and 1, they're going to stop doing it eventually. The biggest thing, too, that would make it not so bad is the officials need to officiate the neutral zone appropriately. You have guys lining up over the ball. The center and the guards are typically over the ball, meaning they're lined up in the neutral zone, meaning it should be a 5-yard penalty, but guess what? They're not calling it. If you officiated the line of scrimmage properly, you would force the Eagles to have to line up properly, not give them that little bit of advantage as you have guys that are creeping up a little bit to try to get a little start there. And it may not be as successful. But a lot of people poking fun at the Packers, being mad at the Packers. At the end of the day, if the speculation is correct, the Packers just ended up being the scapegoat. Sounds like they were the team the NFL went to and said, hey, look, can you do us this solid? Can you submit a proposal to the Rules Committee to ban this play for us? We don't like it. We want it out of the game. But we need an NFL team to be the ones to bite that bullet. And unfortunately, it fell on the Packers. The Lions had to bite the bullet, too. Apparently, rumor has it, Troy Vincent went to the Lions and was like, could you file a position, a rule change proposal, reseeding the playoffs? So it's not just division winners are 1 through 4, and then the 3 wild cards based off record. It's going to be 1 through 7, ranked by who's got the best record, who's got the worst record. And it sounds like Troy Vincent went to the Lions and was like, "Hey, can you do this for us? You scratch our back, we'll scratch yours." And that's another proposal that fell. The only proposal that passed was the ability to do an onside kick really at any time. You just have to say, hey, we're doing an onside kick. Can't do surprise onside kicks anymore. But tush push is going to be allowed. You can continue to push the tushes to try to get first downs and touchdowns in the NFL. And again, I never had a strong position about it. I know as somebody that's trying to be on the air at one of the sports talk stations, or being somebody that's just not just the behind the scenes guy pushing the buttons, I'm supposed to have strong takes and opinions on everything. But I just don't. I think it's a stupid move. Should have never been allowed to begin with, but it is allowed. Now it's on the NFL team to try to figure out how to stop the move. Really all it is to me. That's really is my thoughts on the tush push and in general. So with that said, this has been Talking Sports with Evan. Going to be a little shorter show than usual. I'll be back with it next week, talking about my experience at the Jordan Love charity softball game, which is tomorrow in Appleton. I'll be going up with my buddy Scott to check it out, to have some fun, to cheer on some softball in Appleton. Should be a great time. Talk about that a little bit and talk about some other hot topics in the wide world of sports. With that said, have a great rest of your week. Have a great weekend, and I'll be back with you next week. This has been Talking Sports with Evan.
NFL Draft.